Hey, what's up everyone? Hoy and Pan coming to you from Cupertino, California. Happy Sunday. Today is March 29th, 2020, and welcome to our weekly live stream. We've been doing daily live streams from Tuesdays through Saturday on a specific topic over the course of the week. This past week we covered Timing is Everything, which is volume 2 of my March and book. That's available as a free download today, so if you're catching this after the replay and it's still Sunday, go and pick up a copy of that. But there's also a free handout for today's lesson. So if you head over to hoyandpan.com/free lessons, let me just click over here so you can see that. Let's see, it's here, right? hoyandpan.com/free lessons. The handout for today's lesson, which is going to be covering foot chops or feet chops, how to build your feet up when you're playing by yourself in an aligned situation. Ultimately, all the exercises that we're playing are helping prepare us so that we can start moving and playing. And unfortunately, I've seen many students, and I suffered this myself when I first started playing. Like, my hands were jamming, but as soon as I started trying to move and play, things got a little bit wonky. So today we're going to talk about the 5 exercises that you want to start with to make sure you've got this hand-foot coordination thing set up, and then that'll help prepare you so that when you do start moving and playing, it'll sound just as good on the move as it does when you're standing still. Okay? So at Hoy and Pan on all social media channels, shoot me a direct message. If you're liking these lessons, hit it with a thumbs up, subscribe, share. Let us know where you're watching from. I need to reorder these scenes. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching from, Scotland. Yesterday I got a message from Bruce from Scotland that he's been watching lessons. That's awesome. Friends from Brazil, Christian. Been getting a lot of nice messages all week. So let us know where you're watching. This is just as much about us hanging out as it is about building, percussion community. So let me say some hi to some folks over here right now. Jacob Yao in the house. What's up, Jacob? Good to see you, my bud. Yeah, get excited. Whoop. Way. What's up? Hi, ID. Welcome. Alex. Hello. Andrew. Percuss you. Charlie. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming in. And do me a favor as you're coming in. Just hit that share button if it's the little airplane on Instagram down there. Share it out with some of your percussion friends. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, just share this out with a couple of your friends. The other thing I've been learning this week is a lot of people are catching these after the fact, which is fantastic. I'm glad people are finding them 2-3 weeks, 2-3 years after the fact. But when you're in the room, you can ask questions, and that's the advantage of doing these live streams is I can respond to your questions that are happening in the lesson. So share this out with some of your friends who you think might find this helpful. And let's get into it. Okay, so today we're looking here. If you're, let's see, I've almost got this out. If you're watching the screen and you go to free lessons, hoyandpan.com/free lessons, if you scroll down, first up, this is the handout that's free today. You can download the Timing is Everything. Totally free today, and today's the last day, so you want to pick up a copy of that if you haven't yet and you're interested. And then if you click down here, this is going to be the free handout for today's lesson. So come in here and you'll get a free PDF of that, and then we're going to start looking at that right here. So the first exercise, when you learn how to move your feet and your hands together, I have a crystal clear image of me in 8th grade working with my private lesson teacher and saying, hey, I want to play in the drumline next year. How do I start doing this? He's like, okay. And then so if you're just starting out, you start with your left foot on beat 1, right? So left foot's on beat 1, right foot's on beat 2, left foot on beat 3, right foot on beat 4. So just as a default, we always start with our left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put this in a basic 8 on a hand pattern just to start. And the memory is of my teacher. We were in this back hallway of the band room, and he was, bless his heart, was down on like his hands and knees, grabbing my feet and trying to help me move my feet because I was just a total, this was not easy for me when I first started. And so he was like manually moving my feet. And, I gradually got it over time, but with each exercise, there's a little bit of a learning curve, right? And then if you can get these 5 exercises that we're covering today, you'll have a pretty good grasp or at least a good start on the things that you need to be developing with your feet. Okay, so first exercise is just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so nothing fancy here, but a couple things to keep in mind to help you when your feet are really getting into the mix here. Let me just fix this Instagram angle real quick. Okay, so first off, you want to make sure you're practicing with a metronome. Why? Because the more things you add into the mix, the less reliable and consistent they're going to be. But your metronome is your friend. It's going to tell you the truth. And if you're speeding up or slowing down, it's going to tell you, right? So the first thing is, the analogy that I use with my students is, imagine that there's a sensor in the bottom of your foot, in the arch of your foot, okay? And every time you take a step with your foot, it's causing the metronome to beep. So I hear this, right? And I'm imagining that my feet are actually the thing that's causing the metronome beep. You can practice this sitting down. I used to have all my lessons sitting down. Ideally, if you're going to be standing when you play, you can practice as well. So when I practiced at home in middle school and high school, I always stood in the bathroom and used the bathroom countertop and the mirror in the bathroom, especially, to stand up and move my feet and make sure that I didn't look weird as I was moving my feet, right? So the sensor in your foot's causing the metronome to beep. And this is very, very important also, which is you're picking up your entire foot as you mark time. You look at all the top groups right now, you're going to see them picking their feet up. And, you know, embarrassingly, in high school, I went through this phase because the entire band did this mark time where the toes stayed on the ground and our heels just came up and we were just feeling the beat in our heels. And I remember my teacher saying, like, hey, pick your whole foot up when you're marking time. And in my head, I mean, this just shows what a dopey high school kid I was. I was like, oh, I'm good enough. I'm just feeling the beat. I don't need to pick up my whole foot. I'm feeling the time in my heels. If your teacher tells you to do something, just try it. You might be surprised. I'm running into this with my daughter right now. She's 4 and apparently she knows everything. But I'm saying, like, hey, just try this. Pick up your whole foot and imagine that sensor is what's causing you to feel the beat. Okay, and picking up your whole foot, it'll help you feel the time better. It simulates moving more so than just your heels and keeping your toes on the ground. And the effect that you'll also see with the line is that you'll see everybody kind of swaying back and forth at the same time. So you'll be able to diagnose if someone's a little bit fast or slow, or, you know, if you're on the wrong foot, you'll see 2 people going like this and you'll be like, okay, that's not it. So it just helps you synchronize with everybody as you're playing, okay? So pick up your whole foot and then just try it with 8 on a hand to start. So the other thing I would say is before you start trying to coordinate your hands with your feet, you have to have one or the other super locked down. So in this example, hopefully you've got 8s really comfortable. Right? So everything that we talk about, motion, timing, mechanics, bearing the metronome, which was our theme of timing this past week, right? This has to be solid before you start trying to add your feet. You never want to try to be learning 2 things at the same time. Like an example of this is if you're trying to learn the drill, like your dots of where you're going, and try to learn the music at the same time, that's when you start crashing into people and missing direction changes. So in this instance, we're taking an exercise that we know really well, 8 on a hand. Now we're saying, okay, can we put our feet with the time? Okay, so the way you're going to start doing this at home, and teachers, this is how you might introduce this to your students, is you're going to say, all right, the metronome's going to start. It's going to click 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on beat 5, you're going to start moving your left foot. Okay, so you're going to see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right, start. And when I just said start, that's where the exercise starts. Okay, so for now, we're going to start with our sticks out like this. No sticks in out for now. Let's just take that out of the equation. So sticks are already out. As a teacher, I'd start the metronome and beeps 4 times so you can feel the beat, and then you start moving your feet on beat 5. Okay, so it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right. Okay, and that's all I have students do. If this is day 1 of drumline camp, let's just get that much. Beep, 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 feet, 1 note. Okay, and then just make sure that 1 note is with your left foot and that first right hand. What's going to happen for a lot of people is you're going to hear beep, 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 beep. They'll forget to take that first step and go, oh, and then that's all. If you're forgetting to step on beat 5, then everything else after that is already, you're in recovery mode. So let's do that a couple more times, make sure that we really have this solid. Okay, 2, 3, 4, left, right, boom. Okay, this time start with your sticks out. Beep, 2, 3, 4, left, right, single note. Again, this is where you can introduce the concept of looping it, right? So if we were just taking this small thing, right, as a teacher running a rehearsal, you're always trying to figure out how do I take as much talking out of the mix as possible. Let's just get some repetitions in so the students can get more time doing as opposed to hearing and understanding, right? You just got to do it. So if I say loop it, as soon as you play that first note, boom, that's starting over a new sequence, which would look like this. And I'll just do it a couple times and you'll pick it up as we're doing it, okay? So sticks start out, no sticks out for now, just sticks starting out, counting. Ready? 1, 2, 3, feet, left, right, 1 note. 2, 3, 4, feet, 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 1 note. Okay, and then when you 1 note, you're just taking 1 step. So your feet go back to that standstill position. Okay, let's try one time. Let's loop it again. Stick starting out. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right. Feet stop here. 3, 4, left, right, last time, boom. Okay? Once you've got that, if you can't do that, then just stop for a second, because that's what you're going to need when you start playing in any sort of situation. Now, if you're practicing by your home, you could practice this, but eventually you won't even have to think about this. This will just become automatic for you. Okay? And then the last ingredient that you want to add is some sort of sticks out motion, right? If your sticks are down to start, you might bring them up, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Whatever your ready position and your playing position and how you get into it, you can do different ways. So if you're going 5, 6, if your sticks start down, you would bring them up on 7, 8, okay? If your sticks are starting in, you'd go 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? So for now, let's do a sticks out, because I'm probably going to end up hitting my desk if I keep doing the sticks up and down a bit, or the stand. So we'll start with the sticks in like this, 5, 6, 7, 8, boom. Okay, and let's just do that one time through. Here we go, sticks starting in this time, 4 from the mat, and typically the teachers will say 8 from the mat. 8 from the mat meaning you hear 4 and you mark time 5, 6, 6 come out on 7. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, feet, feet, out, and boom. Okay, and then you stop the metronome and say, okay, let's do that again. 6 starting in, get set. And this is very, very important. You know, this is called foot chops or feet chops, this lesson is about your feet. But a lot of these preliminary things, if you are messing up the sticks out, if you're forgetting to start your feet, if you're missing the first note, anything that's going to take you out of performance mode and move you into recovery mode, that's going to mess up your feet later. So that's why we're taking so much time to talk about these preliminary bits and pieces. And then we'll get into these exercises very quickly in just a moment. Okay, so if this is review for you, just bear with me. But also this might be a good review for how you can introduce this to your underclassmen if you're a section leader, for example. Or if you're a teacher, here's the sequence I usually would take students through to get them going. Okay? All right, same thing. This time, we're going to bring our sticks in after that note. So it's going to be boom, and just bring your sticks in. Again, if you're doing sticks up and down, just play 1 note, boom, and then bring your sticks down on beat 2, okay? All right, so here we go. Sticks in, set, and it's very, very important that you are still before you start. So a lot of times we hear people say like, okay, here we go, get set, and then right before they start playing, they're like moving. They're not ready to go. So it's like beep, beep, and then they're getting ready, and then they miss that first note. Again, stay in performance mode. So make sure you are set, like everything is good to go before the metronome comes on, and you're perfectly still. The other small detail that I look for is that you don't fidget your hands right before you bring your sticks out or bring your sticks up, right? Even if you're down here, this fidgeting thing, it's like a nervous habit. It's just like, it's very common for a lot of players, is they just kind of like set their hands before they start playing. Like, you want to get in the habit of just having your hands set and just play that first note without readjusting your hands right before you start playing. Okay? All right, here we go. Stick starting in. Make sure you're perfectly still. I'll start the metronome. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, right, out, and boom. And then you do the same thing. Okay? So once you get that, let's do that one more time because I know a couple of us missed it. Let's try one more time. Ready? Make sure you're set and you're still. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, right, out, and boom. Okay? Now, if we were to loop this, I say, okay, loop it. That first note, boom, is still the beginning of the next cycle, and there's a bunch of sticks in and sticks out. Okay? If you can get a line to do this, very simple drill, people are ready to go. They're not fidgeting. They're starting their feet and bringing their sticks out at the right time. A lot of time, the first note is blown because people forgot to start their feet. Their feet are slow. They're fast. They miss the sticks out, or the sticks out's a little bit late, or it's a little bit early. All these things that you do before you play the first note will determine or strongly influence your chances of getting that first note together with everybody else. Okay, so this is really, really important. That's why we're looping this. And now we're just going to cycle it in and out 4 times, see if you can get 4 in a row. Okay, all right, here we go. 2, 3, 4, left, right, out, and boom. 3, 4, left, right, out, and boom. Stop your feet there. Now start your feet, left, right, out, and boom. Feet stop right there. 3, 4, left, right, out, and last time. Okay, so there's kind of a lot happening, and typically it won't happen so quickly, but the starting of the feet, the stopping of the feet, the bringing out of the sticks, the playing the first note, the bringing in of the sticks, or the up and down, depending on how you do it at your program. These are the things, these are like the preliminary things that you need to get in place before you even start trying to do this in the inner serve line setting. Okay, let me check real quick if there are any questions. I don't think I saw any coming through. Hey, Christian, welcome to the room. Hi, guys. Hi, 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 hi. And I should also mention, if this is your first live stream, there's always a live Q&A at the end. Jacob says, I did that too. Yeah. A lot of us have gone through these growing pains. And what I'm trying to do here, guys, is I'm showing you the sequence I take students through. So basically, I eliminate the mistake that most people make before they even make it because of the sequence that I take you through. So I'm just adding one little baby step each time that's very doable. And I already know what the most common mistakes are when people learn this. So if you go through the sequence, you can save yourself a lot of headache and heartache. Okay, all right, I think we're good over here. All right, so no questions over here. And like I said, if you have questions, there will be an open Q&A section at the very end. Okay, all right, let's get to the exercises here. I probably should have done that all with the main screen on. I'm still trying to remember to come in and out between, the teaching scene and the scene. But now we're going to go into the music scene. We're going to look at the first exercise. This is just 8 on a hand. And let me blow this out just a little bit. It's probably one that stock. Right, left, oh. This 8 on a hand is like a 4-2-1 variation because this is out of volume 1, which is 4-2-1. But we're just going to do 8, 8, 8, 8, stop. Okay, so the first 2 bars here. Let me zoom in. This is what we're looking at, and we're just going to play this section twice. Okay? All right, let's try that. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Okay, so 2 times through. And we'll do the whole bit, sticks in, sticks out. Yeah, you'll just do the sticks up and sticks down if that's what you do at your program, but we'll do in and out for now for ease of confined space that we're in. Okay, all right, we'll do this a couple times. Your hands set, you're still before you start, you're checking your posture, drop your shoulders, pick where you're going to be looking at. Your hands are set, don't move your hands, don't fidget before you bring the sticks out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right, out, and. Keep moving your feet. Keep your sticks out. 2, your feet keep going because the exercise is still going. 7, 8, and 1. Left hand. Imagine that your foot is causing the metronome to beep right now. 2, 3, 4. Whole foot comes up off the ground even if you're sitting down. And 1. During those counts in between, I'm thinking the 8th note. I'm thinking bop, 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 bop. Even when I stop playing, in my head I still think bop, 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 first note, dot, dot. And you're just jumping back on the train, right? So nothing stops. Even though you stop playing, your level of concentration and subdivision keeps going. 3 and 4 and bop, 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 1. Perfect entrance. Okay, this is the last time, so we're going to bring the sticks in when we play the release on beat 2. And 1. Okay, and then your feet stop on beat 1, so you don't take that step on the right foot with your right foot. Sticks down and sticks up, if that's how you do it at your program. Okay? Any questions about this chunk? Because it's going to get kind of added on as we go. But I don't see any questions coming in, so feel free to ask questions at any point, guys. If I miss them, then just type it in again for me, just in case I do miss them, because occasionally that does happen. Okay. Zach says, solid stuff as always, Hui. Thanks for throwing this out there. We started to learn the preliminary stuff, but never went beyond it. Great. Thanks, Zach. And maybe tell me what your big takeaways are from lesson 2. There's some things where like I touch on something, you're like, oh, hey, could you talk more about bop? And if you throw something in, I can expand on it a little bit more. Or if you have a question about something that I don't talk about, you can always throw that out as well. Okay? All right. So you get 8 on a hand, you're good to go. And you're rocking. You feel comfortable about lining up your feet. A couple tips If you get off, just know that your left foot is always going to be on beat 1 if you're in any sort of 2-4 or 4-4 time. It starts switching back and forth if you're in an odd subdivision like 3-4, odd time signature like 3-4 or 5-4 or 7-8, right? So just remember that if you get off, one tip that I didn't learn until later when I started marching drum corps at Cavaliers was if you get off on the wrong foot, 2, 3, just instead of doing that like double skippy thing where you're trying to like gallop your way into getting back onto the right foot, that's only going to draw attention to yourself when you're in the field and you're marching and you're like trying to hop skip your way into it. Don't do that, right? The best way to do it is just to stop your feet and then start again. Okay, so if you're marking time standing still and you get off on the wrong foot somehow, just stop your feet and then start them back up on beat 1 of the next phrase. Okay, that's something that, you know, I'm saying stop your feet, and obviously if you're moving on the field, you can't just like hold for 4 counts while the rest of the drum line keeps you moving. What ends up happening is you step, 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 and then you'll just like stay on one foot for an extra beat and then take another step with the other foot. You'll recover in 1 count. So eventually that won't happen to you because you'll just be nails with your feet, but that's a quick tip on that. Okay? All right. The next hurdle that you're going to run into, Bandas Marching Guatemala. Hi, welcome. Hello from Guatemala. To Guatemala, from Guatemala. The next exercise that most commonly will cause people to blow up is this Bucks threes. Okay, so again, check out the accent tap lesson where we go over this exercise. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and, right? So now we're in this 3-4 time signature, and every other bar you're going to be on the opposite foot. So in the first bar, 1 and 2 and 3, and the start of that second measure, you're going to be on your right foot. Okay, so be aware of that. But the main hurdle, if you can fix this or get this piece, like you're Johnny 8th grader going into 9th grade, we're working on triplet bucks or Bucks threes with you, and you're having trouble getting your feet together, this is the thing that you need to zoom in on and get figured out. So you already have this, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Nothing is weird about that because it's a tap and your right foot hits on beat 2. 1 and 2. Where it gets a little bit, and this is what causes most people to rush Bucks threes, is they're going 1 and 2 and you play an accent and your left foot is up in the air. 1 and 2 and it feels unstable. Oh, that's weird. 1 and 2 and, right? So what happens is most people want to rush. They want to get back to a comfortable place. 1 and 2 and 3, and they like rush that little bit, right? So don't let that syncopation, the accent on the and, 1 and 2 and, don't let that be uncomfortable for you. And the sooner you can make this comfortable, the less likely you're going to rush these Bucks threes, provided that you're also, you know, being intentional in placing each one of those inner beats as you're playing them, right? So the first thing I have you do is this 1 and 2. You do that 2 or 3 times. 1 and 2, just a tap in the right foot, 1 and 2. Good job. Next, you do this, 1 and 2 and you just make sure you play that accent after the right foot. 1 and foot and. 1 and foot and. Left foot, right foot. 1 and 2 and. Try it with your left hand now. 1 and foot accent again, but right foot accent. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Now, in this instance, the metronome is not on because we're not practicing consistent tempo. We're figuring out this coordination thing. So in the figuring process, it's okay if the metronome's not on because you just want to take it at a tempo that's comfortable and natural for you. If we were doing this in a lesson together and I saw that you were struggling with this, I would just slow it down. I would say, okay, no problem, let's just go a little bit slower. 1 and 2 and. And like almost very, 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 very rarely have I encountered a student where if I slowed it down, I couldn't get them to do it. It's just about finding the tempo that you need so that your brain has enough time to process, oh, what is it that we're doing here? So you're going 1 and 2 and. Even if you have to go this slow. 1 and foot and. Guess what? You did it. Your body just did a correct rep. It's understanding what's happening. Left foot. Left, tap, right foot, tap, and. You did it. Good job. That's a correct rep. You can put that money in the bank that you're doing it and you're logging correct reps, okay? And then you gradually speed it up. Back to your right hand, 1 and 2 and left foot, right foot, a little faster, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay? From here, you just do this, 1 and 2 and 3. Ooh, that's really important. That beat 3 anchor, you've got to feel that left foot anchor with that right tap. 1 and 2 and boom. Yeah. And this should feel comfortable. 1 and 2 and left foot. 1 and 2 and left hand. 1 and 2 and boom. 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 You say, good job, guys, you got it. You know, I'm kind of presenting this the way I would in a full drumline setting. And you just need to put it into a small bite-sized chunk that 95% of the group is able to get. Ideally, it's 100% of the group that can get, right? But as you're repping this, you're able to give feedback to all people who are on different parts of the bell curve at this time. So for Johnny 8th grader, they're just trying to remember to start 1 and 2 and, right? And what you can do is just say like, hey, everyone's looping it, right? You can say, hey, just stop your feet for a second. Just do your hands. Good, okay, here we go. Now just add your feet next time. With the feet, 1 and 2 and, good job. 1 and they blow up. No worries, stop your feet. Bum, bum, boom, bum, boom. With the feet now, boom, 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 bum, boom, right? So that's like Johnny 8th grader. Meanwhile, you've got your center tenor player, your center quad player, right? And you're saying, hey, place, make sure you don't rush. 1 and 2, that tap. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, don't drop that in there. Bum, 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 bum. Strong quality, bum, bum, bum. Every note exactly the same, right? So even though we're doing something small and simple, everyone can be getting better and being more intentional by what they're doing as they're playing this. Okay? Once you get this cycle, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, and you can get to that right foot. Let's try this at 100. Ba, ba, boo. Once you can get to that downbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and right foot. Left hand, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Once you can get there, you're home free because it's the same cycle. You're starting over. It's just off the other foot, right? So the whole thing, 1 and 2 and 3 and checkpoint down, bum, bum, bum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and boom. If that caught you by surprise, then take it back and just figure out where am I breaking down and fix that one part. So you might have to start with your right hand and the right foot. 1 and 2 and 3 and just practice that hand transition. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Right? So practice it off the left, practice to the right. And it's just about getting all the little pieces in place and then trying to put it together. So I might not do right hand and left hand back to back. I might just do only the right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and left hand transition, left foot. Can you get there? If not, then zoom in even further, take an even smaller chunk or slow it down even more. But whatever it takes, you've got to figure out where your hands are lining up with your feet. Use those checkpoints, and how well you can do it at this slower micro chunk tempo will affect how well you can do it once it gets faster. Because the key thing, and I probably should have said this at the top of the lesson, is everything that you're doing is about making this as automatic and firmly established as possible. You're not going to have time to wonder like, oh, are my feet in time? Or how do my hands and my feet work with this section? Eventually your feet are just going to be like motors that are on, and you're just worrying about lining them up with the metronome. And your hands, you can actually use them as a reference point as to where your hands should be, right? I used to have a teacher who used to always say, put your feet with the met, put your hands with your feet. So if your feet are not with the metronome, that's one breakdown point. If your hands are not with your feet, then that's another breakdown point. But if you can get your feet with the metronome, at least you're at the starting point of being able to having a chance to play clean and together with other people. Okay? All right, so let's play this exercise a couple times together. Hi guys, thanks for coming in. Raymond, welcome to the room. Let's keep going, okay? Let me turn this. All right, so we're gonna play Bucks threes with the metronome, moving your feet. We'll do it 2 times through, okay? Let's do the whole bit, sticks out, set your hands, practice starting your feet on 5, out on 7, play the exercise. After the second time, we'll practice bringing your sticks in as well. Okay, here we go. Hands are set, not moving. Don't fidget before you bring your sticks out. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right, out, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and left hand 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and right hand 1 and foot and 1 and 1. Keep your sticks out, keep your feet moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Foot and hand line up here, foot and hand line up there. Back to the right hand. Place every inner beat. Whole foot comes off the ground. Bring your sticks in here. Boom. Okay, so I'm calling out a bunch of stuff that you could be thinking about and paying attention to as you're doing this, but you want to make sure that this syncopated accent when your foot is not striking with the accent, that's something that is like an early hurdle that you're going to have to figure out as you're doing this. Okay? Any questions about this? If not, we will keep plugging away. Okay, so you can do this. Obviously, there's more exercises on today's handout that you can be practices with 4, 2, 1, 8s. You can do bucks 2s, bucks 3s, bucks 4s. So a few exercises. We're going to jump down here to timing, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this timing sheet today because we spent the whole week on timing. Okay, but basically, you've got to figure out how to line up your hands with each one of these patterns. Exercise 1 is all about flow. So as you're flowing through right hand, that's probably not a problem for most people. When you get to that second measure, you want to hear that syncopated combo rhythm, like the composite rhythm between your foot going ba-da-ba, foot, foot, right? So if that's blowing you up, just go slowly again. It's always just about slowing it down. Slow it down so much to where you think it's ridiculous. Like, oh my gosh, this is so slow. Great. Make it easy on yourself. Go so slow that it's easy. Do it right 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then gradually speed it up. That's literally the secret formula. Most people just don't slow down enough, and that's why they break and fold 20 times before they finally get it right once. And then they move on, not realizing that their chance of doing it right again is slim to none. So just go slower, all right? So we have 1E and a 2E and a 3E. Foot E, 1. Okay, you've got to get that down. Once you get that, do that a bunch. Once you get that, then play the entire exercise all the way through at that slow tempo. 1E and a 2E, foot, 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 and a 1E and the next pattern. 3E, foot E, 1. Your hands keep flowing, right? If you see your hands start like freezing and doing weird stuff, remind your hands. 3E, foot E, 1. Okay, so get that worked out. Then you come down, and here's like the stock 3 notes, 6 time patterns that you should be able to play. 1 E and, 1 and a, 1 E, and foot E and a. The foot E and is usually where people get a little hung up, right? So again, just go slowly, and you go foot E and right foot E and put it together. Foot E and foot E and okay, do 4 of them now. Foot E and foot E and foot E and foot E and 1. And you play the whole exercise through. When you put it into application, you try to play exercise number 2 all the way through, and you break on one of the patterns, go back and work just that pattern, or just slow the exercise down. Okay? All right. Same deal with triplet timing. You've got to figure out how your feet work with all these triplet timing patterns, right? So this exercise 5 is like the triplet version of exercise number 1. You're just flowing through the part. Foot lolly. When you get to the second part, triplet, foot, da, da, da. I'm sorry. Triplet, ba, ba, bum, bum. The good thing there is you have a right foot and a left hand right there. I'm looking at this second measure for the people who are like, what is he talking about right now? When I get to hear triplet, foot, foot, right? So the other strategies, you always just need to find like, where do my hands and my feet line up? And find those anchor points, because those anchor points are going to keep everything grounded, right? And then this becomes super important when it's getting filled in. So for example, take a look down here at this pattern. So your feet are going to be in the space of those rests. So it's triplet, foot, da, da, foot, da, da, right? And the sticking here would be foot, left, right, left, boom. Big, da, 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 bum, bum, and bum, 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 bum. So if you need to go this slow, ba, 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 foot, left, right, foot, right, left, boom, then go that slow. And you can hear it if you're like picking up your feet and you're actually like kind of stomping your feet a little bit, or better, you're on a drum set and you can hear the hi-hat and the bass, right? Boom, bop, bop, boom, bop, bop. You want to hear the composite rhythm that your feet and your hands are making together. Okay? All right, let's get to the new bit here. This is like another common exercise that kind of causes a lot of beginning people to blow up when it comes to their feet. Carl's got a good lesson on this on the Drumline Blueprint website. If you go to drumlineblueprint.com, and I think the handle is, there's a free lessons tab there, Fix Your Feet. And Carl's got a video lesson on this that's really helpful, so you can check that out if it helps. But many of us, when you first start drumming, you play this exercise. All right, and that's a foot nightmare if you're first starting out. You're like, whoa, where's the beat? All right, so back to my original point. Make sure you have the exercise down in your hands first, and you can play it with the metronome. Just get the exercise down, okay? You understand the exercise, you can line it up with the metronome, that's good to go. It's time to figure out how to put your hands and your feet together. Okay, so in this instance, you want to go beat by beat, so you always know where do your feet land with your hands. Okay, so literally the first thing that you do is dun dun. Okay, good. We start with our hands, easy. Bum 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 bum. Right foot, right hand release. Bum 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 bum. Again, bum 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 bum. And here's the other thing. Most people do it right once, and then they go on. You heard me kind of allude to this earlier. You have to do it right, like 5, 6, 7, ideally 10 is your magic number. If you can do it 10 times in a row, there's a good chance that you're like, okay, my body's got it. Do it so that when you go on to the next thing, you don't blow up, right? Because if you go on to the next thing and you blow up, that means you didn't do enough of the previous thing, okay? So go slowly, bum, 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 right? So your foot and your hand end together on the last part. Try it off the left hand. And notice that I'm always going straight to the left hand, so I'm not doing all the right hand stuff and then having to start over with my left hand. I'm just alternating between right hand and left hand as we're doing this. It keeps it a little bit more engaging, right? Left hand, dun, dun. Left foot, right foot. Left foot, right foot. 1 E, 2. Double stops. 1 E, 2. 1 E, 2. Again. 1 E, 2. What's up, Nick? 1 E, 2. One more time. 1 E, 2. Okay? So you've made it to beat 2 now. Now you look at beat 3. Where does beat 3 land? Oh, look. 1 E, 2, and a foot. No hand and no foot together. Okay, so just see if you can make it to beat 3. 1 E, 2, and a foot. That's too fast. I'm blowing up. No problem. 1 E, 2, and a foot. And for some of you, you're like, whoa, that's so slow. Good. Again, just go however slow you need to go. There's never a thing where you're like, hey, you're going too slow. Sometimes if you go too slow, it actually makes it harder. But very, very rarely, I would say 9 times out of 10, if you just go slow enough, you'll find that tempo where it's easy, your brain has enough time to process it, and you can do it, most importantly, you can do it correctly. Doing it correctly is the most important part, okay? 1 E, 2, and a foot. 1 E, a foot, and a foot. So no hand and no foot on the last note. Try it off the left hand. 1 E, foot and hand together, foot, hand, foot. Bing, bing, ba, boom. Beep, beep, boom. I'm seeing the composite rhythm now, right? Da, 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 dum, beep, beep, boom. You got to hear that with your foot, okay? And if you can get here, you're almost there. Try it with both hands. Dun, 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 boom. Bum, 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 bum. Are you stomping and ending up in this up position for that last part? Okay? If you can make it there, great. You are 3/4 of the way there. So now we're going to 4 and. If you can make it to 4, usually you're good to go. All right, so this is the part where you go bop, 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 foot, bop, bop, foot, bop, bop. So the composite rhythm, if you did your 2-note, 16th note timing patterns before, this will be easy for you. But you're thinking foot, E and, so foot, E and, foot, E and, or right foot, opposite boom, B, left foot, right? Foot, E and left hand, foot, E and. The composite rhythm is 3 E and, 3 E and, 3 E and, 3 E and. Okay, so you try to put it in context now. You go 1 E, a 2, and a foot, E and. One more time, ready, go. Da, 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 foot, E and. So in your head, you should hear ding, 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 boom, ding, ding, boom, boom, boom. Left hand, ding, 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 doom, ding, ding, doom, ding, ding. A little faster, ding, 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 doom, ding, ding, doom, boom, boom. Again, right hand, ready, go. Dum, dum, da, 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 boom, boom, boom. Usually, if I can get students to there and they're not, pushed to their max and they're like, okay, I can handle that. And it's a combination of just doing it slow enough times and mixing it up, right? Usually if you just tack on 4 and, that's easy because that's back to eighths, right? So once you get to beat 4 and you're good to go, you have 1 E, a 2, and a 3 E and 4. And you might even add that on before you add bum bum, right? You go bum 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 bum. I'm sorry, bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum, bum 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 boom, bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum. Because now you can just keep your feet going. Now fill it in. You have ding 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 ding. Fill it in. And if you were an 8th grader or 9th grader and you first started out with that's going to be great. Just figuring out how to play these syncopated patterns. Because right now you're having to think about it really hard. Again, eventually you won't have to think about your feet at all. Your hands will just always know how they line up with your feet. And every once in a while you'll still have to break things down beat by beat to get those anchor points, those checkpoints in place. But you'll be much, much closer to getting there. Okay? There's a pattern B and a pattern C. So pattern B is bum, ba-dum, 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 bum. And that has a different set of challenges. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so different checkpoints. It's the same process though, just breaking it down beat by beat. And there's a C pattern. Bum, bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Okay, lots to be learned and inserted into that. Okay, happy birthday, Sudam. Lennon, hello, welcome to the room. Hi, Alvaro, hello, hello. Hi, Colin. Hi, guys, come on in. Thanks for coming in and popping in to say hello. Let me pause here for just a moment and see if there are any questions. If there are, great. There's an extended play section, which is always fun too. Man, there's like a lot of information on just this one sheet. And that's one of the things that I've noticed about the last, this is our 5th Sunday live stream, which is kind of like, whoa, I've completely lost track at this point because I've been going pretty much daily for the last 2 weeks. But to even think like, hey, we've done 5 Sunday lessons, it's kind of a lot. But the thing that's different now than say like 2 or 3 years ago, if you were watching when I was still streaming on like Periscope and Facebook back in the day, 2 or 3 years ago, I have all the handouts done now because the handouts, I've gone through the process of writing out all the exercises that I use to teach most of these things. And occasionally I'll come up with a new exercise or I'll put something new together because I'm experimenting and still developing the way I teach certain things. So I can, because I have them all ready to go, I can kind of just like pull them in. And so if you catch the early lessons, it was basically always just like one PDF because I made the PDF for that lesson. Whereas today's lesson, you're kind of getting a tasting from a bunch of different exercises. So you've got 4-2-1 exercises. You've got some from like the doubles or the diddle handout. You've got some from the gridding interbeat section. So these handouts these free downloads are getting more robust. They're sometimes 5-6 pages long is what I've noticed. Okay, so there's an extended play section. Okay, so that's a different syncopation thing that you figure out with your feet. This is the last one we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about gridding. So typically you'll start with a 16th note gridding. Right? More students are familiar with this. You still hear that composite rhythm, do ba, or doom da, doom da, doom da, doom da, doom, ba doom, da doom, da doom, da doom. And you're really making sure that right hand is ending up on the downbeat with your foot each time. This wasn't a problem for me in high school, but even until my junior year, I always kind of faked it when I got to triplet grid. Like I could play triplet grid, right? And I could even do it with a metronome. And I remember thinking I was a hot shot in high school because not a lot of people could play the triplet grid. Nowadays, like every high school kid under the sun can play triplet grid. If you can't, don't feel bad, but you'll get it in your hands, right? Triplet grid was like everyone can do it with the metronome. But it was always kind of like my dirty little secret, which was like I could not mark time while playing triplet grid. I could go right? But then as soon as I got to or I was, useless. The reason I mentioned this was there was a mental shift that I made, and I remember the second that I made that mental shift, and it was what allowed me to get over the hurdle, and that's what I want to share with you guys. It was my first drum corps audition camp, my junior year of high school, and a buddy of mine, Nick and I fly to Dubuque, Iowa from Texas to audition for the Colts Drum Corps. Why Dubuque? Because our instructor at the time, Matt Quinlan, was from Dubuque, and he was like, "Yeah, that's a good, maybe a good first place for you guys to try out, and so go for it, right?" And so we're like, okay, so we prepared, we auditioned, we got there, and Matt was such a sweetheart. His family, like his brother JP, came and picked us up. We stayed at their folks' house, and they took us to camp. I mean, they basically took care of us like we were their kids, and super grateful to Matt and his family, even all these years later. But that was my first drum corps camp, and that Friday night, after we had done like the full audition playing, and they said, "Hey, tomorrow you guys are going to be doing your individual auditions," and they had triplet grid in the packet, right? And we were just so amped up at them. We're like, "Man, we were at drum corps camp. This is like Friday night. Look at how good everybody is. This is amazing," right? And we were just so excited and like amped up to be there that we couldn't go to sleep that night. And we had like open practice. I mean, everyone was still practicing. It was like 10, 11. There was no like lights out for some reason. But anyway, we were all still practicing. And I remember at that moment, I was like, you know what? I've got to figure out how to play triplet grid with my feet, like right now. I'm going to do it. And so I just sat there and I wallowed in badness for a long time. I was like, just okay. And I was like, okay, what's this next part? Doom ba ga foot ba ga dum da da ba ba and it was terrible. It was so slow. I had to think really hard. And then I figured out that it was just the same thing twice. So if I could just go foot hand, if I could just get there. Once I did that a bunch, foot, hand, if I could do that, I just had to do it again. Foot, hand, Okay, got it. All right, it's slow and it's uncomfortable and I'm thinking really hard. What's the next one? Foot, hand, or hand, accent. Okay, foot. Oh, okay, one more time. Okay, okay, let's add one more. Foot, hand together. Okay, there's a checkpoint on beat 3. And then I had another breakthrough that I should hear the composite, which is doom, ba, doom, ba, doom, doom, ba, doom, ba, doom. And it was like really slow. And I remember like going down this deep hole for like an hour. And I looked up and it was like 12 o'clock at night, but I was able to play, when it was all said and done, 4-2-1 triplet grid from beginning to end, very slowly and painfully and having to concentrate really hard, but I was lining up every foot with every inner beat and knowing exactly how the hands fell. And that was the turning point for me, that when I figured that out, I never had to think about how my feet lined up with my hands for triplet grid anymore. So I tell that long story to say that a big part of this is just about the mental switch of not saying like, oh, I can't do that. I can't play triplet grid with my feet, which is what I just said to myself for a long time. You just have to say, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this now. I can't do it. Let me just take it bit by bit and then just work out the parts that you can't do and just take it piece by piece. And once you get to the 4s, you'll be like, great, I did it. And then you'll get to the 2s and it'll be like a new thing. You're like, oh man, now it's 2 of each one. So I have to be so familiar with them. I have to be so familiar with each of those patterns that I can flip-flop between each of those seamlessly, right? So if I come down here, you have to be able to recall each one of these quickly enough to where it's bum, bum, do ba, do ba, do ba, do ba, do, right? And if you can do that, then you just do it just like before. You just do 2 of those, right? And then when you get to the ones, it's like its own little thing, like ding, doom, ba, doom, ba, boom. Just get there. If you can't get there, then just go dum, doom, ba. Okay, you should be able to do that. Dum, doom, ba. Do that a bunch. Doom, beat by beat. Doom, ba, boom. And that's an accent release with the right foot, right? And just like 3/4 before, when you did your bucks threes, every 3 beats you're on the other foot. So right foot, left hand, and you can just start there. Bum, boom, bum, bum, right hand, left foot, and you just do each one of these little pieces bit by bit, and then you start chunking them together. So 3 beats and 3 beats becomes 6 beats, and then you just do it again twice, and then by the end you should be able to, even if you can get to here. Next pattern. If you can do 4-2-1 triple grid all the way through at that goober slow tempo, that's a huge win. Because if you can get those mechanics put together, it's just a matter of time for you to put it all together and gradually start speeding up the tempo. So eventually, you don't even have to think about it. Let's say if we put this at 160. When you see someone do that online, I can guarantee you they didn't start that tempo with their feet. Okay, they started at that goober tempo. You just didn't see them because they were in Dubuque, Iowa by themselves in some high school hallway with all the lights off at 12 o'clock at night. Okay? All right, guys. What's up? What's up? Steve Music says, fire! Hey, what's up, Jesse? Thanks for coming in the room. Quick shout out to Jesse's page, guys. If you're not following Steve Music right now, make sure you tap over into his account later. They've got this cool digital drumline project that's coming out. It's like up and running already, and you can probably start learning the music. But basically, the USMC, United States Marine Drum and Bugle Corps, Commandant's Own, they're putting together this digital drumline. So if you want to play with them virtually, you have a chance to check that out. So make sure that you jump in and check that out. It's probably linked on Jesse's profile somewhere, but you can also go to the Facebook page or even the YouTube page for USMC Drum and Bugle Corps and take part in that. That should be really fun. There's some audio tracks that have been uploaded as well, and you can check this out. And thanks for punching out that tag. Jesse says USMC Drum Corps, at USMC Drum Corps. It's ya boy says, huge fan of both of your pages, Steve Music. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Likewise, Jesse. Appreciate all you guys are doing with that. Saw the little video update with Jason. Jason and I are in like a group chat with Mike right now. We did like a little fun little lick from the lick that I posted on Instagram yesterday. So it's fun getting to see you guys. We got to do something together, Jesse. You know, I feel like we've been interacting kind of like tangentially, and we're getting close. The stars are going to align here very soon, and we got to do some sort of collab together, I think. So I think that'd be really fun. So, Branson, what's up? Good, guys. So, hey, the lesson material is done for today. And if you're just coming in, no worries. Come on in. You can catch the replay at a later date. These are up. Pick up the free handout. Don't forget that there is a free handout today for Timing is Everything, Volume 2 of my Marching Percussion Playbook. So you can check that out. There is a free handout. Everything that we played in today's lesson is also available on my webpage, which is hoyandpan.com/free lessons. Oh, look at that. I knew where the hotkey was without having to fish through it. It's getting better. You guys are seeing like a month and a half of me work my way through this. But check that page out, hoyandpan.com/free lessons for any handouts that you might be interested in. And then also do me a favor. A lot of people are saying like, hey, I like this, I like this, I like this. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, but also share it out. The power is when you start sharing it with people so that more people can get access to this information. As time is going on, and I'm talking to more and more friends during the week, which is awesome, friends that I haven't talked to in a long time, you start to realize just like, especially for people who are kind of like hanging out by themselves or they don't have access to their usual circle of friends, their social buddies, these social interactions that we have online become more and more important. So it's just a way of helping everyone stay grounded and stay sane and get some fun educational drumming content while we're at it too. So please help us share the word with that. I should also mention that if you're a teacher, I've got a survey that's on my page, but also on the Drumline Chops, Percussio. Carl's been sharing this. But we have a survey for teachers who are trying to figure out how to do this online teaching thing right now. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. And so for me, teaching online I've been in this world for a while, but if you're a teacher that's just starting out and having to figure out how to teach online right now, take a moment and fill out that survey. We would love to help you figure things out so that it's not frustrating and not stressful in an already stressful situation. But we're trying to put together some resources for all the teachers who are trying to teach right now out there. So take a moment and help us. Again, if you could just share it out, sharing is where the power is at. Okay? I don't think I have any other things. Do you guys have any questions for me? We got like 2 minutes here before we're going to sign off. Let me just say hi, everyone. Jess says, yes, agreed. Let's touch base soon. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. I think that'll be really fun. Yeah, set something up, Jesse. Thanks for popping in the stream as well. Great comment from Jesse earlier on. It says, I totally neglected my feet early on. Oh, you know what? I can't pull it into Instagram. Okay. I totally neglected my feet early on in my career. It cost me a contract with Blue Coats. Oh, man. I bet that's a good story. But, yeah, you definitely... I feel like I've had situations like that, too, where you're in the room and you're doing something. And I was going to mention this during the stream, right? Which is like a lot of times your weakness of your feet appears when it starts to get dirty, right? And you like... And as a someone who's been on the other side of the fence, who's a tech or that's trying to fix the line, you're like, why is it getting dirty? And you look over, and someone's feet are slow because the demand on the hands is too hard. So all of a sudden, their feet are like, oh, divert all power to your hands to figure out what's going on. And your feet get slow. And all of a sudden, your feet and your hands are not together, and that's one of the reasons why you could get dirty. Or if you're not strong enough and you're moving on the field, and you get to a direction change, and then your feet pull slow, that causes your hands to pull slow, that's like another issue, right? So there's just a lot of layers to building up your feet. Today's lesson was just about, hey, what exercises should you be playing to get your feet and your hands together? But don't be caught in that situation where your feet are not strong and all of a sudden you're blowing up or things are getting a little bit weird and people start looking at you and going like, well, why is there a problem? And they diagnose it like, oh, your feet. Dude, you got to get that figured out, okay? So do this preliminary work beforehand so that doesn't happen to you. And then, Jesse, I want to hear that story when you get a chance. Diego, what's up? Hi, Robin. Welcome to the room. Hi, Justin. Dumber, welcome. Awesome. Okay, hey, thanks for those outgoing hearts, guys. If you want to tap some outgoing hearts on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Oh, Drumline Blueprint. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Tap those hearts out. And we're going to wrap for today. So just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for those kind notes everyone's been sending. Hope everyone stays safe and healthy out there. Wash your hands. Continue to social distance. And let us know how we can help. Send us a direct message. And appreciate you spending your time and watching today's stream. Okay? All right, guys. We will see you later. I'm getting the 2-minute Instagram countdown, so we're going to wrap here. Bye, Dat. Thank you for those outgoing hearts, guys. Really, really appreciate that. Appreciate that love. Okay. Yes, agreed. Hello, Dat boy. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to roll that outro music. And we'll see you in Tuesday. No live stream tomorrow. I'll be back on Tuesday, but send me a direct message. Catch up on all the live streams from the past week. And we'll see you guys later. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.